Alright America, this is just another black conservative video. In this video, we'll be covering self-hate. Self-hate is a very effective tool for control. If you have groups of people who cannot tap into their inner strength because they're suffering from doubt, then you will have groups of people who are easily controlled and manipulated. If you have people who are easily controlled, then your power goes unchecked and unchallenged. If your power goes unchecked and unchallenged, then you can inflict your will on the world. In America, elitists try to inflict their will and their engineered way of thinking on people all the time, all in the pursuit of power. This type of shit happens everywhere else in the world, by the way. It's human nature, by the way. The Democratic Party is the party of pro-slavery. Today's Democratic Party utilizes the same system that was used during slavery. Remember, they are the same party. The Democrats are the slave owners. They're responsible for dictating the direction in which slaves are led. The Democratic overseers are the Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, and the feminist movement. Black Lives Matter keeps black people in line through illusions like white people are the biggest terror threat, when in reality, it's the government that's responsible for killing black people. Indirectly, of course. Feminists are responsible for sowing the seeds of hatred between man and woman. In reality, the government destroyed the role of the man decades ago via welfare. That's why today's women talk about that they're independent women and they don't need no man, but in reality, they're suffering inside. To dive into democratic self-hate a little bit, let's take a look at each group. The trannies cannot take a look in themselves in the mirror and identify with the gender that they actually are. If you look at them talk, listen to them talk, they talk like, I was so unhappy for so very long. This self-hatred is wrong because now we have boys and girls not growing up, not knowing their purpose in life. With no purpose, you cannot have no direction. And with no direction, you can be easily controlled. Here's a quick joke. I identify as an A-10 Warthog. Call me crazy, but I know my responsibilities are destroying enemy tanks. On a serious note, man who can't grab himself by the nuts and say, I'm a man, I have purpose in this world, can't do good for the world. Weakened people create hard times, as we've no doubt seen. In my time in liberal white areas in my city, I've concluded that there are some liberal white people who don't love their own skin. Liberal whites talk about, I just hate what we did in slavery and to the indigenous people. These ignorant liberal white people have an ignorant perspective on history. The white people that I remembered beat back the British and freed my people from slavery when we didn't win it ourselves, of course. I try to tell these liberal white people that they are descendants from patriots and you ain't come from weak people. I try to tell them that you can't do good not being able to understand and grasp your own inner strength. If you look into the black community, you'll see that there are a lot of black people, especially the dark black ones, to try to act white. This can easily be identified as self-hate. I ask black folks, how can we talk about black strength and black power when we're trying to follow other people? If you look at black women often wear weave to try to resemble white women. That's a huge problem in the black community. We have our women following up white women. I ask my sisters, why do you follow up white women? They do weird shit like fuck dogs and poison people they don't like. Not all of them, of course. When the white women's liberation movement kicked off, black women followed them up. That's why 69% of the black community grows up in single-parent households, as well as 21% of whites. When you have a lack of pride for yourself, you can easily be crafted into a tool to destroy your own people. Quick note, Democratic women often say that there are no good men around. Understand that their democratic mindset of control makes women insufferable. You can't build with these women. That's why they're often alone. Here's another joke. A successful relationship with a Democratic woman is like winning the lottery. It can happen, but I wouldn't invest my money in it. The only men that they can get is weak men because they have no other choice, because they're weak. The true evil Democrats are masters of control and sowing division. All of the corrupt elitists learn the ability to control people from war. I personally feel like psychological warfare is being used all in the pursuit of power for the Democrats. But that's only speculation, however. If you look at people with a democratic mindset, you see that their life is often fucked up. Not all, but a lot. A weak man can never achieve prosperity for his people. If you have men who can't even identify as a man, then your people will know no peace. When you have systems that allows weak men to reproduce instead of relying on the natural order of things, then you will have weakened and easily controlled offsprings. One thing to take note of is poverty leads to doubt and self-hate. Doubt leads to suffering. Suffering leads to breaking, and breaking leads to death. If you can't look inside yourself and see yourself for who you are and know your purpose in this world, it's inevitable that you will suffer, break, and die before your time. And when it comes to us black people, we don't have black supremacy movements boosting our ego. Instead, we have a movement that was designed to victimize us and turn us to a bunch of scared Negroes. Like everything else the Democrats do, it will fail. Did anyone else realize, see how they tried to make Asian people look like victims with the Stop Asian Hate? But it didn't get too much traction because Asian people just went back to work in their spas, weave stores, and restaurants. My final point, strength will always be admired because you can do good for the world. Self-doubt and self-hate will weaken your people by creating a generation that will destroy your people. And if you don't believe me, look at the gays. They are effectively destroying bloodlines. In America, you have the freedom to live your life. In America, you have the freedom to self-hate yourself and destroy yourself. So don't. If you ever find yourself in poverty, just understand that the poor man's mindset can easily be broken with knowledge. I am Devin Sumter, and I am a proud black conservative. And I'll leave this on this final note. Did anybody take an honest look at the Census Bureau? If you looked at it, the black population came down, but just by one point. I'm not worried about that. And the biracial community is coming up because both sides, both white and black people, are running from each other. And now, if you look at white people, right? White people went down dramatically, and you got to ask the question: why the fuck did that happen? Well, white people pushed that gay shit very hard, and white people pushed that feminist shit very hard, and it's wiping them out. So if you're pushing an ideology that's destroying your people will get wiped out. We see this in real time now. So we have to start making decisions, and we need to start looking inside ourselves. Like I said, I am Devin Sumter, and I'm a proud black conservative.